Hello YouTube, King of the Pharaoh Imps here, and today I'm going to be profiling a Rat Toolbox deck that I've been working on for a while. Basically what Rat Toolbox does, you focus on Giant Rat to be destroyed by battle, and bring out useful small earth monsters. So basically, you know, Rat Swarm or Plague or whatever, or Chuck E. Cheese if you want it that way. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So first off with the monsters, of course, you're going to be playing 3 Giant Rat. This is kind of like the core of the deck, the main point of it. Let your Giant Rat be destroyed by battle, and then bring out your useful low attack point Earth monsters. One of the main ones, I guess, is Card Trooper. You know, 2 of him, because he can mill 3 to get up to 19, and he floats for a card if he's destroyed. So that's always good. You can help get things into the graveyard to bring them back, should you ever need to. So he's used for that. 1 Grand Mole, because it's limited to 1, sadly. But Grand Mole is just amazing, especially right now, just being able to return things back to the hand, like big fusions, big Xyz, big synchros, anything like that. Of course, he is searchable off of Giant Rat, so that's the main reason you play him. Next up is the monster removal in 3 Heraldic Beast Basilisk, and 1 Hyper Hammerhead. I guess my reasoning for Basilisk is his effect does not target, of course. He's a beast, which helps out with, I guess helps out a bit. And then, of course, Hyper Hammerhead, because he returns stuff to the hand. Hyper Hammerhead is bigger. I feel like 4 monsters to remove things is a good number, but trying to find the right balance, you know, maybe you could go 2 Hyper Hammerhead and 2 Basilisk, or 3 Hammerhead, 1 Basilisk. I'm not using DD Warrior, because DD Warrior, regardless, he'll always get banished, and I kind of don't like that. I would like things to stay in the graveyard. And sometimes you just have to destroy, and sometimes you have to bounce, and banishing isn't too important, as long as like you can keep one of your cards and have it in the graveyard to use for later. That's sort of my reasoning with it. Yeah, I think this is fine. I might maybe want to go 2 Hammerheads and 2 Basilisk. That might be better, but right now this is working for me right now. Then 1 Barrier Statue of the Drought. This should be a Fossil Dyna, probably, but Fossil Dyna is among some of the cards that I ended up losing. Yeah, in my big loss. But anyway, in testing, online at least, I found Fossil Dyna to kind of be a hindrance because I couldn't special summon. This thing, as long as you can protect it, will allow only Earth monsters to be special summoned. And really, there's not too much in the game right now that special summons Earth. That's too prominent. That's too much of a problem, I guess. In one build, I guess I play Fossil Dyna at 3, so at 2. So maybe 2 of these, or 2 Fossil Dynas, or Fossil Dyna and 1 of these. Whatever works. I find this to work out very well. Just being able to allow me to special summon my monsters. But of course, Fossil Dyna works just as well, being able to also get that flip effect should you draw into it. Next up, Syzan. I guess I'm playing Syzan for just for a level 4 tuner. You could definitely like drop it because you really don't need an extra deck for this deck. You rely more on your main deck stuff, I guess. You know what I've found in testing. But Syzan's there for the option for the Xyz or the Synchro plays, should you ever want to do that. Next up, the big monsters. Ancient Gear Engineer, and Super Heavy Samurai Big Benki. Now I'm only playing 2 big monsters. At one point I was playing 2 Engineer, 2 Benki, but that just got way too cloggy. You ended up drawing them, even at only 2 big monsters, you end up drawing them far too often, which is something I absolutely hate doing. Ancient Gear Engineer is a great monster. What he does is he negates the effect of any trap card that targets him, and if he declares an attack, your opponent can't activate anything until the end of the damage step. And if he attacks and is still on the field, then you get to pop one of your opponent's spell or trap cards. So that is very good. He's only 15, which allows you to special summon him off Giant Rat, but he is level 5, so like I said, if you draw into him, it's not that bad because he only needs 1 tribute. But this thing is just a monster. I love this card. I really would want to play it at 3, but it just clogs way too much. And the Big Benki, what he does is, when he's summoned, anytime he's summoned, you can change his battle position. While he's in defense mode, you can attack and you apply his defense. So basically you go Giant Rat, bring this out in attack, switch it to defense, and then it can attack in defense, and apply that 3,500 defense as its attack, which is extremely good. But like I said, these kind of only work at 1 because you just draw into them. And then the last Earth monster is Redox, because everything's Earth, so you can go ahead and ditch this and anything. If you draw into any of your big guys, then you can go ahead and Redox them away to reborn something. And then they stay in the grave and you can bring them back with any of your graveyard recursion. That's all for the monsters. Next on the spells, staple stuff, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Soul Charge. Still, I only like 1 Soul Charge, and it's probably going to get hit anyway. Possibly, I don't know. I only like 1. And then 2 MSTs and 1 Book of Moon. MST, you don't particularly need it. I find myself, like, if my opponent's setting a lot, then I just go into Ancient Gear Engineer and then get rid of everything. And then Book of Moon, of course, works well with flipping your opponent's stuff face down, or if you need to flip any of your stuff face down. If you do play a Fossil Dino, then you can combo with that, of course. Then 3 Pot of Duality. Mostly on your turn, you won't be special summoning. You'll just be digging for your Giant Rat to go ahead and set or normal summon it or whatever you want, or your Card Trooper, or anything. Next up, 3 creature swaps. Of all the things I can't find, it's my 3rd creature swap. But anyway, of course, what you're going to be doing with this is you're going to be creature swapping over your Giant Rat, take your opponent's big monster, attack into your rat, get Rat's effect. You can finish your opponent off or deal a big chunk of life points quite easily if you creature swap your Giant Rat to them, take their big monster, destroy Giant Rat, and then bring out Benki, and then you can get a lot of damage in. Next up, 1 Ayer's Rock Sunrise. I considered playing 2, maybe 3, but I think 1 is fine, because really you only play 6 beasts in the deck, your 3 Giant Rats and your 3 Basilisk. Again, that's one reason why I was playing Basilisk in the first place. It does have a great effect that your opponent's monsters do lose extra attack for every monster in your graveyard, which can be a lot, especially with the Card Trooper being able to mill things and get them in there. Great card, but it's not a beast-based deck, and most of the times the only beast you'll ever really bring out is your Giant Rat, and you'll hardly ever see Basilisk sometimes. 1 is fine, but definitely up it to 2. Last card, this is very obscure, very, very obscure, like, so weird. Gaia Power. Now, at one point I was playing Seal of Orichalcos, but that kind of got in the way. The thing is with Seal of Orichalcos is it's a better thing because only your monsters gain attack from that, and once per turn it can't be destroyed by a card effect, so it like protects itself. But the downside is you can't go into your extra deck should you ever like be in a situation where you ever need your extra deck, or like I found myself wanting to activate Seal of Orichalcos after I had special summoned a really good monster with Giant Rat. So I guess Gaia Power is working out. Really, you could use the Seal of Orichalcos instead. I would kind of say that, but I ran into too many problems with it, drawing it later. And really, a field spell is only good at 1, or just really, if you can find anything else to get your monsters a bit bigger, or reduce your opponent's monsters, maybe like Burden of the Mighty, maybe, or anything else obscure that gives your opponent's monsters, that gives your monsters more attack. That's all for spells. The traps are the big things which you end up using to protect all your stuff. 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Bottomless, 1 Compulsory, and 1 Torrential, just all basic 1-ofs for monster removal. Then I'm also only using 1 Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. You kind of want to keep your hand advantage, so you don't always want to discard, but it's still that extra bounce. 2-dimensional Prisons. 3 doesn't work that well because if you end up drawing into battle traps are good, but they're slow, so only 2. And then 2 Chains after that to bling out Chuck E. Cheese, and then 3 Call the Haunteds to go ahead and bring back anything you need. You can go ahead and bring back Big Benki, bring back your Giant Rats, anything else to, of course, this is just recursion. This is nice and quick. can go ahead and activate this on your opponent's turn to bring back your rat during the battle phase, and it will cause a replay, so they can choose not to attack your rat, but most of the times they will since it's in attack mode. So yeah, that's it. A lot of traps. Probably, maybe I'm considering adding more traps to further protect everything, but yeah, it's fine like this. So as far as the extra deck goes, I really don't think that there's anything too specific that you could use. Basically just a bunch of rank 4s. Whatever you happen to have, like, you know, that's lying around, like for Xyz, I guess. Fairy King Alverditch would work out very well with this, of course. Everything being Earth and being able to, being your, like, attack gainer, but a lot of the times I found myself not really wanting to Xyz summon because the monsters that I have on board are better than anything I could Xyz summon, that I could, like, Xyz into. Then for Synchros, I guess, like, just like level 8s and then level 7, because you have Earths, so you can go into it with Syzan and any of your, like your Card Trooper or whatever, and then these Syzan and whatever. Stardust Spark also works, I guess. But like I said, the extra deck is not that important. Mostly your main thing is going to be wanting to get out your giant rats, wanting to get out Chuck E. Cheese here, and then go straight into any of your animatronic band monsters. These are probably the most useful ones, I would say. Grand Mole next, that being able to ditch, and then your monster removal last important. Mostly your big things with big effects, these two guys here. These are sort of your boss monsters of the deck, but anything else kind of becomes a boss monster. Syzan also becomes very useful, and then Redox. If you ever need like a wall for protection, you can go ahead and Redox that. So anyway, this has been my Rat Toolbox deck profile. Still needs a lot of work. Really, you can use just any Earth monsters that you find useful that you can summon with Chuck E. Cheese. Just anything that gives you advantage, pops your opponent's stuff, deals with your opponent's monsters or spells or traps, and just allows you to maintain an advantage. The deck works out very well, but in testing, like, a lot of card choices can conflict and cannot be as good. So this build is what I have found to work out best. You might also want to try like Fossil Dinos instead, or maybe get like I said, 2 Fossil Dinos, or Fossil Dino and 1 Barrier Statue, or 2 Barrier Statues, whatever works. Just kind of to stop your opponent from summoning. I found the Fossil Dino end up hurting myself a lot more than stunning my opponent, so I think Barrier Statue works out fine. But anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you have any suggestions, I'll go ahead and read those. But anyway, if you enjoyed the content, please remember to subscribe. Also leave a like and a comment to show your support. And this has been King of the Pharaoh Imps, signing out.